what we're going to do is we're going to be replacing the spark plugs in this particular engine. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this bar here because we have to take off the, on top of the air intake, we need to take this off so we can gain access to the coils, which are right down over here. We need to take these coils out so we can get to the spark plugs underneath that. Let me remove this bar and take off the air filter assembly over here, and we'll get started. Okay. We're going to take this bar off, so we need to get down here to get to these nuts down in here. See them down on the bottom down there? That needs to come out. So what we're going to basically do is we're going to remove everything that's in the way so we can gain access to it. Okay, that's what it looks like with the bar out of the way. And now we need to take off the air breather here, or the air intake. We need to take this off so we can gain access to these coils, which are right down inside here. So we're going to loosen up this clamp back here. And if you look right down in here, there's a little screw down inside there. We need to take this one off and this one on this side here, and then we'll take this out. Let's do that. Let me just unplug this sensor right over here. And the way you unplug it is you can just push in on this clip and just rock it, and it comes right off, and you can take it right out. And that leaves it open so we can get to each one of the coils and remove it so we can get to the spark plugs. I'm going to do that right now. And the way that we unplug the coil is you press down on this little notch on top here and just rock it back and forth, and it comes right off. Each one of them comes off the same way. Alright, take these three out, and then we come around over here. Same thing here. Push down and pull it off. Push down and pull it off. And then we're going to remove the coils. And the way you remove the coils is you take out these 10mm nuts right here. You can just crack them loose. And the way you get the plugs out is you basically just pull the coil up and out, it comes right out, and your spark plug is down in here. You go in here with just a long extension with your spark plug socket on it, put it right in like that. way I usually get them out. Just unscrew it out, because your plug is going to stay down inside. You just unscrew it, stick the coil down inside there, push down on it, and it pulls it right out. Okay? Removing each one by one. And before you put the new plugs in, make sure you check them with your capper. Most of the time you'll see up on the hood, it'll show you right up here what the gap is supposed to be on the spark plugs. In this case, it's 40 thousandths of an inch. So we set them to 40 thousandths of an inch with our feeler gauge, and then you install the spark plugs. The way you install them is you do not drop them in. You put them in very, very gently and just guide them down with your finger so that they don't fall in and close the gap up. Each one of them, same thing. Then you use your socket and extension, tighten it down by hand as tight as you can. Never use a ratchet to tighten the spark plug in. Always catch it by hand first, because you don't want to cross the plug and then you're going to have a real big problem. So screw them all in by hand as far down as you can. You can do it by hand and you'll feel when they bottom out. Put your ratchet on it and tighten them up. That's just three. We'll be adding these three on the other side. Over here we're going to do the same thing on that side, but I'm just going to show you these for now. And the way you put the coils back in is you take your coil, put it down, line it up with the stud, push it down, and you'll feel it slide right over the plug. Same thing. Each one of them over the top, push it down, over the top, and you could feel it slide right down. Put your nuts back on the top of the coil. You got to tighten those down. and then we just tighten them down. They don't have to be tight, it's just snug to hold the coil into the intake. Once they're tight, you just take the coil electrical wiring, push it on, and you'll hear it snap, and you know you're in. Make sure you didn't knock any of these hoses off in the back over here, all these vacuum hoses when you were in there. And now we're going to do the other side. Okay, once all your plugs are back in, your coil's on, the connectors are plugged in here, all the electrical connectors, and the 10mm screws that hold the coils down are buttoned up and tightened down. Then you're ready to put your air breather assembly back on, and we'll put that bar back across here, tighten that down, put your washer fluid, put your antifreeze container back on the fender, and let's go. Now remember when we took the air breather off, we unplugged this plug, so we unplugged that back on. Let's go plug that in first before we do anything. Snap it in. Then what we're going to do is make sure this goes back on the way it's supposed to be, right in the back, right over here. As you can see, it goes right in the back like that. We'll just push that back on. So we have to tighten that up, but before we do that, before we tighten this clamp up right here, we're going to go back over to the front where we had those Torx screws to tighten in, here and here. We're going to put them in first. Same thing here. And we tighten up that clamp in the back. Bar and reinstall the bar. Let's organize that right. Okay. We're going to take our electrical wiring that we removed before, And we're going to put it right back where it came from, which is these two holes right here. Lock it in place. We come around over here. We're going to put our antifreeze back up here. Catch it in the frame there. Push it back. We're going to put our bolt right back in here. And this, show you here. I'm going to take this clip here and put it right back on there. Push it and lock it in place. We put our air filter back on. Remember how we took it off. Push that on. Put your filter back in the location. Put your snap clips back on. Same thing over here. Snap that on. Put your hose back on here. Tighten up that clamp. Grab a screwdriver. That's it. Now we're ready to start it up and make sure we did a good job.